One viral video turned an unknown construction worker into the Ibiza Final Boss.
I'm the Ibiza Final Boss.
A bowl cut that looked like medieval armor, a dance so unself-conscious it became a global meme. But here's the real question. Can Jack K turn 15 minutes of fame into a 40,000-pound-a-day empire before the internet forgets him? The clock is ticking, and the algorithm doesn't care. It all started on August 3rd, 2025, at a nightclub called 06 West in Ibiza. The place was already a blur of neon lights, sweat, and bass-heavy tracks shaking the floor. And then, in the middle of it all, a stocky British guy with a bowl cut stepped onto the dance floor. No posing, no influencers, fake smiles, just pure, unapologetic movement. He looked like someone who had either just time-traveled from the 1980s or didn't care what decade it was. The club's TikTok account posted the clip with the caption, "Does anyone know this absolute legend?" The internet didn't just answer, they crowned him. Comments compared his haircut to a medieval knight's helmet. Others said he looked like the final boss you'd have to face in a video game about British lads on holiday. Within hours, Ibiza Final Boss wasn't just a nickname, it was a brand. Jack K, a 22-year-old from Newcastle who worked in construction, woke up the next morning to find that his holiday dance had been remixed with EDM tracks, turned into reaction videos, and edited into memes. The internet had decided he was the embodiment of something missing from modern nightlife. Unfiltered fun, no phone in hand, no rehearsed moves. Just living in the moment like it was his last night on Earth. But fame in 2025 is a dangerous gift. TikTok made him a legend overnight, but it could make someone else just as famous tomorrow. The window to turn virality into money is short, and everyone around Jack knew it. Managers, agents, and brand strategists appeared almost instantly, all with the same goal: take the Ibiza Final Boss from meme to money before the next trend hits. The first offers were almost ridiculous. Nightclubs in the UK and Spain were willing to pay £5,000 to £10,000 just for Jack to show up, dance for a few minutes, and take photos. Add in a marathon weekend of appearances, and that payday could jump to £40,000. Merch deals followed: neon, Final Boss shirts, replica wigs, novelty mugs with his most viral expressions. Suddenly, this guy who had been pulling pints in Newcastle was looking at earning more in a weekend than he made in months at his old job. But here's the thing. If you've ever seen someone go viral, you know how fast it can vanish. The same fans who can't get enough of you today will scroll past you tomorrow without a second thought. Jack's rise was meteoric, but so is the risk of crashing. And while his team was busy stacking up nightclub tours and brand deals, there was a bigger question lurking in the background. What happens when the music stops? The machinery of monetization around Jack K moved faster than the bass drops in an Ibiza nightclub. One day, he was a regular guy on holiday. The next, he had a team negotiating contracts, booking flights, and lining up every possible revenue stream. Club promoters wanted him now, not next month. Brands saw his working-class charm as the perfect antidote to the over-polished influencer scene. The offers came in from every direction. Booking.com hinted at free trips back to Ibiza in exchange for a few Instagram posts. Energy drink companies wanted him in their ads. One merch supplier rushed to print thousands of Ibiza Final Boss t-shirts and spiky wigs, expecting £75,000 in sales just from the initial drop. Even his Instagram stories, once a random dump of holiday snaps, suddenly had a price tag of £2,000 per post for brands desperate to tap into his engagement. On paper, it all looked like the dream. In reality, it was a race against time. The internet's attention span is brutal. Think about it. The hawk toi girl had her moment, and within weeks, the memes slowed down. Someone else took the spotlight. That's the cycle Jack was up against. And if he didn't maximize every appearance, every deal, every piece of merch right now, his moment could vanish before the first paycheck cleared. There was another problem lurking: burnout. His schedule was grueling. 4 club appearances in a single weekend, each one demanding the same high-energy, crowd-hyping dance that made him famous. But when your entire career rests on delivering that exact vibe every night, the line between fun and performance gets thin. The raw, spontaneous joy from that viral clip could quickly turn into a rehearsed act, and audiences can smell the difference. The risk wasn't just exhaustion, it was typecasting. Right now, Jack's final boss persona is his golden ticket. But what if that's all the market wants from him? If he becomes locked into that one-dimensional role, he might find himself unable to pivot when the joke gets old. It's happened before, viral stars reduced to cameos in their own legacy, showing up years later at festivals as nostalgic curiosities instead of current names. Jack's team knew this, which is why they weren't just chasing nightclub bookings. They were talking about podcasts, reality TV appearances, and even long-term brand partnerships, things that could keep him relevant when the bowl cut meme eventually fades from the For You page. But in this game, the timing is everything, and every day the clock ticks, the window for reinvention gets smaller. And then came the UK club tour announcement, a full schedule of appearances across the country, taking the final boss from Ibiza's beaches to packed venues in Leeds, Manchester, and London. Industry insiders called it a smart play, cash in while the hype is at its peak. But others saw a trap. What happens when the tour ends and the crowds have moved on? That's when the real question started to hang over everything. Is Jack K building a career, or just extending the countdown on his 15 minutes? History isn't kind to viral sensations. Most peak in weeks, then fade into the endless scroll of forgotten content. But every now and then, someone figures out how to rewrite the script. Jack K's next moves will decide which side of that history he ends up on. There are two paths ahead. On one, he becomes a footnote, a nostalgic "remember that guy" moment in a YouTube compilation of old TikTok memes. The club tour wraps, the merch sales slow, and he drifts back to a quieter life, his fame frozen in that single dance clip from Ibiza. On the other path, he reinvents himself, transforming from a one-off viral meme into a recognizable name in entertainment, lifestyle, or business. The challenge? Reinvention means risk. For Jack, it's not enough to be the final boss forever. He needs to add new levels to the game, showing his personality beyond the dance floor. That could mean launching a podcast where he interviews other viral stars about their rise and fall, or diving into reality TV to showcase the unfiltered humor and charm that fans connected with in the first place. Even strategic investments or partnerships could help shift him from internet meme to entrepreneur. And it's not just about the opportunities, it's about survival. Internet fame can turn on you. One bad headline, one awkward interview, one ill-judged collaboration. And the same crowd that built you can just as quickly tear you down. Jack's greatest asset, his authenticity, is also his most fragile. Lose that, and the brand collapses. Some point to figures like David Hasselhoff, who reinvented himself and kept his career alive in unexpected markets. Others mention the countless next big things who didn't adapt and vanished without a trace. Jack's UK club tour is buying him time and capital, but that time is limited. The music will fade, the lights will go out, and then the spotlight will move. When that moment comes, Jack will either have something bigger waiting, or he'll join the long list of viral kings dethroned by the next trending face. For now, the Ibiza Final Boss is still on top. But in the game of internet fame, every boss fight ends eventually. And this one's final level might be coming sooner than he thinks. Jack K's story is more than just a viral meme. It's a snapshot of how fame works in the internet age. One moment, you're a construction worker on holiday. The next, you're commanding 5-figure fees, selling merch with your face on it, and fielding offers from global brands. It's intoxicating, it's surreal, and it's fragile. Whether Jack becomes a long-term success or just another digital flash in the pan will depend on what he builds when the music stops. Does he double down on the party persona, or does he take the risk of showing the world something new? Because in the end, viral fame isn't about the first clip, it's about the second act. And maybe that's the takeaway for all of us. Moments pass, but what you do with them decides the story you get to tell later. So next time you see a trend blow up online, ask yourself, if that were me, what would I do before the algorithm moves on? If you enjoyed this deep dive, drop a comment with your thoughts on whether the Ibiza Final Boss can level up, or if his game is almost over. And if you want more stories about the strange, high-speed world of internet fame, hit subscribe, because the next viral story might already be loading.